Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I am FPL D-Unit and today you're here for your Club World Cup quarter final preview team selection. My thoughts post the round of 16, and yes, I've finally watched a game thanks to Nick Triggerlips. Go and check his channel out. All you have to do is log into Dazn or create an account. I think I'm saying that right, D-A-Z-N. And you can watch all the games for free. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters what country you're in. So if you want to go and watch some Club World Cup, I don't know if they got the highlights on there. I haven't actually bothered to check, but I have watched one game, Borussia Dortmund versus Monterrey. So I finally watched a game, which makes me a bit more excited for the games in general. And without further ado, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. The FPL content is coming. I promise you, it's not far away. And I'm wearing the glasses because apparently everyone said that they were looking good. Now, unfortunately, they keep on making noises in my head when people message me. So that is frustrating. So if I get a little bit sidetracked during this, that's what's happened. But let's just get into it, eh? Let's go. The first thing we're going to do, though, is pay some respect to the man that was, unfortunately, Diogo Jota. A great player, a great footballer, a great family man. Tragic news this morning coming out, well, afternoon here, but tragic news over in Europe that he has sadly passed away in a car accident. Very sad news, and our thoughts, well, my thoughts and probably everyone in footballs in general goes out to his family, especially his wife. Yeah, an extended family, and obviously the Liverpool Football Club. Being a non-Liverpool fan, our sincerest sympathy wishes are with everyone, and yeah, at what is quite a difficult time, I would imagine. Moving on from that, and let's look at the round of 16. What are my thoughts on this? All I have to say is, thank God, Manchester City are out of the tournament. They deserve this. Pep Roulette, this is what happens, Pep. When you sit there and you play Tinker Man, like, what was the old name? Like Claudio Ranieri. You have got to realize this is not acceptable. You have to sell some players. You can't be doing Pep Roulette and getting away with it. You will get found out. And you got embarrassed. You got embarrassed by Al Hilal. Embarrassed by the Saudi Arabia investment in football. It's quite funny when you think about it. Being a Man United fan, I think it's absolutely hilarious. The card, ironically, just in case anyone was wondering, the card's predictions for who was going to win these ties is over 50%. And it called Al Hilal to beat Man City, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. And Man City got ousted by Al Hilal. There you go. And yeah, South American team's doing really well as well. Palmeiras obviously beat Botafogo, but Fluminense, I was hot on them myself about them beating Inter, which is why I had two players from their defence and they combined it, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But the card also called Fluminense over Inter. It had a pretty good week. It had a pretty good week, the card, in terms of its prediction. So I'll be interested to see if it's called Real Madrid right. Look, it is FIFA. It is Real Madrid. It probably means that it's rigged. So let's be honest. FIFA, I still think there's massive corruption there. It's a story for a whole different time and whatever, but it is what it is. Heavyweight clashes are starting to take shape. We've got two all-European ties in the quarterfinals, so that's going to be interesting. And then, yeah, Real Madrid, are they slowly warming up? It kind of feels like it's rigged. They draw the Al Hilal, suspicious. Then they win, and then they get a 1-0 win. Mbappe comes back in. I mean, there's just so many things. Yeah, it is what it is, but those are my thoughts post the round of 16. So how did my team go? Well, my team went really well. This is my best week in Club World Cup Fantasy this week. I have gone from 36,000 rank or whatever it was at the end of the group stage to when all of a sudden we got rid of all the teams I had no clue about and all these players getting rested or whatever, and I just picked players that I thought would actually be good. All of a sudden, my score's gone up. And I've gone up to 20,818, which is still absolutely rubbish. And look, the qualification booster chip actually worked really well. I only ended up with 2 players in my starting 11 that didn't get me qualification booster points. So I actually got 18 points from the chip. Now, an interesting point about this, if you haven't already played it, your captaincy points don't double even though your captain, like, so for example, Fabio got 12 points, but it didn't double the 12 points, which makes no sense. It only doubled his base points. So your qualification booster doesn't get doubled even if it's on your captain, which makes no sense to me at all, because when you read it, it basically says 2 plus 2 points for qualification, like as long as they get through to the next round. But your captain is meant to be double points on what that player earned. So if he earned 12 points, it should be double 12, which should be 24. But instead, it's double the base points. It actually makes no sense. I'm not sure what's FIFA done there. They've cooked their own rules as per usual. Unfortunately, though, I probably should have put on Hakimi. So I did the roulette again, and we'll see where the roulette went with me this time. And the PSG boys in general, outside the defenders, were pretty damn disappointing. Hakimi was obviously the best with a goal. I mean, they put the game to bed super early, and I thought that would be the case. It was a very easy tie for PSG. Into Miami and Team Messi. As I said, I don't understand how some of these teams are in the Club World Cup. It was definitely rigged, so he got through to the next round. I'm 100% certain on that, but it is what it is. Look, I didn't leave many points on the bench, which was good. So that was nice, and I did get a little bit concerned because obviously Borussia Dortmund, I bought into their defenders for the last game, and unfortunately they didn't go that well because they conceded. And realistically, Monterrey, I thought, were the dominant team. And the one game I watched, Monterrey dominated that game. Unfortunately, they had someone up front called Corona that looked very much like a Alejandro Garnacho in disguise and kept making the wrong choice, either shooting from stupid angles or not passing when he should have passed, and it came back to bite him. But yeah, essentially almost everyone returned outside of Anton and Bezabemi. Thankfully, the qualification booster points came in for them. Vinny obviously didn't do much either. Bakola and Kravazaksklia, they didn't do much either. Foden and Haaland both scored, but both City... Imagine getting ousted by Al Hilal. Come on. That's like Manchester United banner levels. Come on, boys. So the captaincy roulette for the round of 16, how did it go? So I started with Delap, and in reality, I probably should have started with Hakimi, but I didn't. No, I was always meant to start with Delap. Delap failed. Chelsea scored 4 goals. Delap got none. Cole Palmer actually blanked in the 90 minutes, but then delivered in extra time. So I don't know if you call that a blank or a passing. I'm not 100% sure. Elise, 1 point. That's where I went to next because I didn't want to wake up midnight to change my captain. And I thought he was a better option than one of the PSG boys. However, I don't know what I was thinking, but in reality, Hakimi was definitely the better pick. Fabio then became the next captain, and I was pretty damn happy when he returned with a clean sheet. 10 nice points there from the captaincy roulette. Just, I love it. I love it, and I hate it all at once. But this week, thankfully, it worked out quite well for me. So the knockout stage predictions, and this is where I want to bring the cards calls back in. So it called Botafogo over Palmeiras. It got it wrong, and I didn't change it. It got it wrong. It called Benfica over Chelsea. It got it wrong. I changed it to Chelsea because I just thought that was stupid. I then already had what the card picks next, and that was Fluminense, so I got that one right. Then it called Al Hilal over Man City, and I thought it's barking, so I changed it, and the card had it right. So there was a 50% strike rate. Then it had gone for PSG, so that was easy. Then it had gone for Flamengo, got that one wrong. But then it got for Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid. So it's actually, it got 5 of the 8 predictions correct. When it comes to the next round, it did call, I think, Chelsea next, which is why I had Chelsea there. It then actually went for Fluminense. Now, it makes a lot more sense now why it went for Fluminense because of the fact that Manchester City are no longer in the tournament, which makes a lot more sense. It went for PSG over Bayern, and it went for Real Madrid over Borussia Dortmund. So I'll be interested to see if that is correct, but that's what we're looking at moving ahead for this round. And yeah, I just wanted to say, like, the card's actually on fire, and the card's going to be coming in with some amazing tips this season in FPL and probably later in the Club World Cup, let's be honest. So the quarterfinals, what do they look like? And there's 4 games, and they all happen within the space of pretty much one day, 24 hours, and they're all over. So I've got to be really on it this weekend. Saturday morning, which is just over a day and a bit, day and a half away pretty much now. Fluminense versus Al Hilal. I'm expecting Fluminense to win this game. Then it's Palmeiras versus Chelsea. I'm again expecting Chelsea to win this game. Then it's PSG versus Bayern. And PSG, I think, win this game. And I think then Real Madrid will beat Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund, I thought, well, after watching that game, it should be really Real Madrid against Monterrey. But it is Real Madrid against Borussia Dortmund. And I think that they will get the job done in that game as well. So my thoughts ahead of the quarterfinals, try and roll a transfer. I'm actually rolling a transfer. I only had my Man City 3 players go home, so I'm only transferring out those 3 players. I did think about doing other ones, but then it just doesn't make much sense because then I might need to be transferring even more players out next round. So I think, remember, you can actually roll one transfer between these match days. So if you haven't got a wild card, it's actually worth just rolling a transfer, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing in this particular game week for the quarterfinals. So I can then use it in the semi-final if I need that extra transfer. If you have a wild card, I would use it now. This was when I did say I would use it, and I kind of wish that I had saved it to use it this week. But I'm actually quite happy with the way the team is looking ahead of this game of the quarterfinals. So I'm not too disappointed by that. Will there be goals galore still, or will the big European teams facing off, will they just become cagey like we see in the Champions League? I'm not sure. I just think that it's still, for me, it just still feels like a pre-season tournament. And for that reason, it's really hard to gauge. I feel like there could be goals. Like we saw Bayern Munich, obviously, don't care about defending, so they just score goals. And PSG look like they're just going to keep scoring goals. And Chelsea, you never know. So, like, there could be lots of goals. But I feel like some of the teams like Al Hilal, Fluminense, and Palmeiras are probably taken a bit more seriously. So for that reason, I think that we're probably going to see less goals. So I'll be kind of erring more towards the defensive teams that you think are going to defend really well. And can Al Hilal keep the dream alive? How much money has Saudi Arabia paid FIFA to make sure that Al Hilal keeps winning? How much money have they bought off other people? Are people going to sit there and say, I'm barking mad and fair play? I just can't get around it. I know that FIFA's corrupt. We've seen it before with Sepp Blatter and that. It hasn't changed that much, I'm telling you that. A lot of the stuff is rigged. Like Messi winning the Ballon d'Or when he literally played for Inter Miami is just an absolute joke, just because he won the World Cup, and that World Cup was rigged. Don't get me even started on that. 100% rigged. Yeah, so that's all I'll say on that. I somehow think that Al Hilal might actually keep the dream running. It just depends on how much money they're paid. Ignore that. Just scratch that. So here's my team selection ahead of the quarterfinals. Fabio is going to be starting in goal, again with Kobel on the bench, Anton and Bessanami. There's a good chance I don't actually bring them on the bench at all. Vinny Jr., strong chance he comes on to the field for whoever blanks in here. But we've obviously got Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, Barcola, and Kvaratskhelia. They are all staying in the team. I'm pretty happy with them. I didn't really want an extra PSG player. I think potentially I could have had one, but I didn't bother really looking at it. Freites, I'm really excited about. And Arias, the man that doesn't have a picture, is back in the team, hopefully for some more points with some luck. So I'm pretty excited about it. Pedro Neto comes in because the funds meant that I couldn't go any higher, and he's actually been pretty good for Chelsea when he started. Will he start again? I mean, it's been almost a week between the games, so you would like to hope that he started again. Maybe João Pedro comes in and starts in front of him, but I'm not really too sure. Then we've got Mbappe up front with Delap. Mbappe comes in, obviously, for Haaland. So it was Arias, Pedro Neto, and Mbappe in for Foden, Haaland, and Matheus Nunes. And I'm rolling the other transfer. That's how we're lining up ahead of the quarterfinals. And I feel like the team's looking pretty good. It's just going to be interesting to see whether people are taking hits this week or not, and whether I can start crawling my way up the rankings a bit more. Maybe I can finish top 15K rather than top 20, but we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. So that's been my video for the quarterfinals. The team selection is done. I paid my tributes to Diogo Jota, and again, my sympathies are there extended to the Liverpool family and his family in general. FPL content will be back very shortly. I look forward to watching I'm actually looking forward to watching the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and the finals, because I'll be on school holidays, so I don't have to worry about my sleeping patterns, which means I can stay up till 3 a.m. and watch these games. So that will be exciting, I suppose. Then I'll be able to give an accurate opinion on whether this tournament's an absolute farce with just money being given to clubs, or if it's actually legit. But without watching the games until the Borussia Dortmund-Monterrey game, I can't really give an accurate opinion. That's just my general thoughts at the moment, so bear with that. Smash a like on the videos, comment, let me know what you're doing. Are you still engaged in the fantasy game, or have you just given up? And subscribe if you haven't already. I've been FPL D-Unit. That's been the glasses. That's been the card. I'll see you again very soon.